And welcome back to another. What? Hello, Kyle. Where are you?
Hello,
Where are you at?
I'm here.
Where?
I'm
Welcome back
here.
to the Stone and Crane Show. This week, you can't see our beautiful faces. That's on
Well,
purpose, though. We're
that's not.
taking Easy Ray out this week, man. I'm tired of tired of some of these problems. So, anyways. Back to our regular scheduled program. This week, we're talking about the TV show The Boys, based off of a comic book published, I think, the early mid 2000s. I want to say.
Yeah, it's like late 2000s. Yeah, like late 2000s.
2006 is when it started.
Yeah, to 2012, right? Something like that.
Yep. Anyways, so if you do not know what the show is, it is on Amazon Prime Video. Which, by the way, if you have Amazon Prime, you get Amazon Prime Video for free. And I did not know this.
Yeah.
Until I was told to watch the show. I was like, I have that. So, watched it totally for free. It was nice. Anyways, back to my point. It's about superheroes. Yes, another superhero show to cover the never-ending superhero shows that are wanted these days. But Kyle, this is not your typical superhero show, is it?
No, it's heavily satire. It makes fun of everything about superheroes in the most incredibly violent possible way you could imagine.
It is. It is Game of Thrones and any Marvel superhero film or DC just mashed together. It is violent. It is derogatory. There's a lot of words, honestly.
Yeah, man, it is brutal to the extreme. Man, it is. I mean, what is it? Within the first episode you watch, I mean, spoiler alerts. Super.
Oh yeah, major spoilers. By the way, we're talking about the show, so obviously,
spoiler alerts coming up.
You're gonna know everything.
I think it's the first episode, right? I mean, they put plastic explosives up a guy's asshole and they blow him up because they can't figure out a way to kill him because he's impenetrable. This guy goes invisible. They can't shoot him because he's impenetrable. He just can't be killed. So when he's sleeping, they put C4 up his ass, and then he tries to escape, and then they kill him.
Yeah,
and it's brutal, and it's
pretty brutal.
And blood everywhere, and it's brutal, and in that whole show from that point on is just, and it's brutal. And every character is brutal. So
I like how that is not the first death in the show, by the way.
No, not at all.
So I feel it's funny that you bring that one up first and not Huey's girlfriend.
Yeah, you got Huey's girlfriend.
Anyways, before we get into that, I just want to say something quick. This was originally a DC comic, if you did not know. It was bought out by Dynamic Entertainment. Mm-hmm. I forget when, but and then they took it a step further and eventually turned it into a TV series that is on the rise.
DC for a little bit, and then they didn't like it, so they took it away. So Garth took it away. It only ran like 12 issues or something like that under DC's label. And then after that, they said it wasn't under their brand or whatever.
Yeah, which is totally understandable.
Right, because it didn't fit with the rest of what they were trying to do.
I'm okay. But for them to get the feet on the ground and do what they did well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go back into the first major death we see, right? I don't know if you want to talk about that. It's Huey, poor fucking Huey.
Oh my god! So
standing there with his poor girlfriend.
You mean the arms of his poor girlfriend?
The premise of the show. So the premise of the show is superheroes are real, right? And everybody knows about them, but they're not like the superheroes they are in like DC or Marvel, where they're like, oh look, everybody has like superheroes. These superheroes are bought and paid for by a company.
Vought.
And Vought is the company. And everybody still loves the superheroes, but the superheroes aren't all kind and cuddly. To a point. They're just normal people. what do you want to have it? And poor Huey is just a normal guy with a normal girlfriend, and then I don't know if you want to take it away.
Gets absolutely ran over. His poor girlfriend that I can't think of the name right now. Well, she was more of an afterthought after the first episode. But there's this superhero called A-Train. He is basically the Flash. I mean, we're gonna make comparisons just on all these characters because you can, and we just to make it easier for people that don't know what The Boys is. He runs super fast. Well, something you don't see in DC Comics is what happens when a super fast man runs through a super still person.
Yeah,
that person gets obliterated, and that is exactly what happened to Huey's poor girlfriend. Man, they were gonna start a life. They were gonna get an apartment together. You know, things were moving forward. Huey at age, I don't know, 26 or something. I don't know what age he is in the show, but he was still living with his dad at this point. So it looked like the up and up was going for Huey. Well, A-Train happened. So that is A-Train. Let's go over. So the show is called The Boys. Let's go over The Boys here first. So The Boys is ran by Batman.
Billy yeah.
I say Batman. But Butcher is what he goes by. Billy, what's
I want to call him because there is a Batman that's coming. Tech Knight's coming.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because they talk about him a bunch in season 2. So.
Oh yeah, so they did the same thing with Soldier, right?
Yeah, well, so Soldier Boy's coming, which is essentially Captain America.
Yep. Captain America that pisses his pants.
which is Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, I know that. Man. I was gonna.
Supernatural.
That's one of the things. Here, we'll wait till the end. We're going over season 3 at the end, but yeah, we'll talk about it going forward. Anyways, Butcher is this guy. He wants to take down all superheroes because of something that happened with his wife. Which at the point that we meet him, he thinks his wife is probably dead, killed by another superhero, the superhero in the public's eyes, Homelander, which is Superman, basically. I mean, he's pound for pound Superman. Other than like what, freezing breath.
He's
the only thing he doesn't have. He's got the laser eyes, the flying ability, the super strength. You know.
Yeah, impenetrable to bullets. You can't hurt him. So yeah, he's got everything. All of it. So yeah, he's Superman.
So. Anyways.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll get into him.
He's
so
amazing.
That's Butcher. He's hell bent on, not only exposing these superheroes but killing them. He wants them dead to rights, man. It doesn't matter. And this goes for any superhero. No matter how big are they, if they got some sort of power, he wants them dead. So, moving on to The Boys, we got Mother's Milk. Yes, that is his real name. His mother did name him Mother's Milk. Which is, I mean, that's...
Because in the comics, he had to survive on his mother's milk.
Oh, yeah.
That's why his name's Mother's Milk. Because they had to live off his mother's milk. It's the only way they could survive. He literally had to survive on his mother's milk. That's why his name's Mother's Milk.
Yeah, Marvin is his real name.
Yeah.
I think that's what I think Huey calls him Marvin because I think he's a little uncomfortable. Or Marv. I don't know what they call him. Anyways, he's a vet that was a medic. His father was an attorney that tried taking down Vought. Because, Vought's this big bad company. By the way, I don't know if we said it. Vought is the one that basically created these superheroes with some sort of serum, some sort of thing that they gave babies when they were born and paid their way through to make them these, be able. Vought is, a company hell-bent on just making money is really all they want to do. They care less on how it happens. That's their main goal. Is making money. They don't really care what the superheroes do as long as they can make money off of them. That's all that matters. So, yep, his father's this, so he ended up joining Butcher to help with this. By the way, the boys are like this secret. They work under the government, kind of as a secret thing. They don't have any real ties. It's real, you know. The boys, they try to get enough evidence where they can give them. If they don't, you know, there's no ties into their government for them. So that's how they're able to do this, all this stuff. Going on to my favorite character of the boys, anyways, Frenchy.
Frenchy, man.
Oh, man. I fucking love Frenchy, dude.
Frenchy's great, man.
He is. He's so...
Yeah.
So Frenchy is kind of the mastermind on how to kill these guys, right? He figures out a way to either slow them down or kill them, which he's the one, you know, Kyle mentioned earlier.
You want to figure out how to put the C4 up the guy's bum.
Yeah. saw a turtle commercial and thought of it.
Yeah. Translucent was one of the superheroes and stuff, yeah.
Yep. And then later in the first season, we get what they refer as the female. Kind of becomes a member of the boys. Kamiko. She's got super strength and super healing, I would say.
Healing. Yeah, healing.
So those are the kind of two things she's able to do.
Yeah.
And like this is like back from death type healing. This isn't just, you know, get a cut and it'll heal. This is neck snapping, arms being, you know, taken up, you know, big gouges. You know, there's a couple things that happen between
she
the first
gets
two
gutted
seasons.
at one point, right? Black Noir guts her completely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yep.
Yeah, completely disembowels her.
Yep.
Black Noir is another one of the superheroes. We'll get to him, but he completely disembowels her at one point. And then like snaps her neck too, right? I think it does something to her, but he completely jacks her up, right? So stabs her in the foot, disembowels her, he beats her ass.
If you want to go ahead, start with some of the Seven.
Well, that's all the boys, right? That
is the boys. So if you want to get into the Seven, which is what Vaught's top superhero team is called.
Yeah, we can do that. So the whole show, right? So we got the boys, and it's called the boys because these set of guys are trying to take down Vought, which the Vought has these set of superheroes, and they're called the Seven. And it's basically their satire of like the Justice League.
Yep.
Or, you know, or the Avengers, right? It's they're making fun of them. And of course you have Homelander, which is Superman, and then you have Maeve, right, which is what, Wonder Woman?
Yeah, a little Wonder Woman-esque. Definitely,
probably
much, the most,
especially with the costume, right? With the more Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She
doesn't quite have Wonder Woman's abilities, but
no, she just just has like super strength.
Yeah,
you know, or like she's once again impenetrable to bullets. Yeah. You know, she can't. So, but like, and then you have the Deep, which the Deep is Aquaman. Which the Deep is he's
got gills, man.
he's got gills in his chest. Hilarious character in the show. Black Noir, which is an amazing character. My favorite. I guess not my favorite, but he's up there for one of my favorite characters in the entire TV show.
He's
love everything about his he's got a tree nut allergy. You gotta be careful. But he's just his style, like what he is. He wears all matte, like all black. But he is essentially what, when we'll get into later, could be the key to everything, because he's damn near impervious to everything except for tree nuts. We found out at the end of season 2, he's allergic to tree nuts. But he's awesome. He's super, you know, martial arts, you know, speed, right, strength.
Yeah.
You know, regeneration ability, whatever you name it. The dude he's awesome. And then you have what is it? Starlight, which is one of the characters that Huey, who's part of the boys, who becomes part of the boys. He's the one that had his girlfriend's arms ripped, you know, her whole body imploded by A-Train. He becomes in love with Starlight and stuff. There's a whole story arc that comes in with that. And then you have A-Train, and A-Train is, of course, the Flash. So, and Starlight is like the new Seven, because Lamplighter, which is like, I don't know if there's anything like Lamplighter that is from any of the other like superhero stuff. Lamplighter carries like a torch, You know, it was kind of thing. So, and then A-Train is, I don't know, A-Train is, I don't know, man, he's kind of a dick, but he's okay. He's a fun character to have and stuff, but he's okay. But
yeah.
But Homelander, man, is awesome.
Yes, let's get into your love for the world's worst superhero.
Homelander?
Yeah.
Oh man, so this guy is a piece of shit. Yes, Homelander is Superman, but the worst possible version of him ever made.
And they do explain a little bit. You know, it does have to do with his upbringing.
He was a kid essentially created in a lab, right? So he was an orphan, whatever. They injected this serum into his body. He was raised in a lab, and he has the best superpowers ever because he's Superman.
Yep.
He can fly, shoot lasers out of his face. It's just awesome, and he's super strong. But he is just sadistic and narcissistic.
One thing I do want to say quick. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're fine. You're fine.
The big thing to know about this is that, you know, this compound V that they put in babies and stuff, if you do not like work out your superhero abilities, these abilities that you're getting, they will fade. And I think that also has the opposite effect. If you work them enough, you know, the more you work on them and the more everything, the better and more destructive and whatever they can become, which is why I think Homelander is so much stronger than anybody else, because he was in this lab environment, and that he, you know, was this, you know, that was their only focus on him, was making him this machine, basically.
Yeah. He just kills people, like regular, just people, like just. It's like, oh, like we got to go stop this thing. Like, was it episode 1? He just kills the mayor of Philadelphia. You know,
yep.
just blows up his plane, flying in midair, and it's just like with his dude's son in it. Just no fucks given. You know, he just kills a guy had a gun in a building, just fucking punches his chest in, and then just shoots Maeve in the chest with that gun because he's like, he's got to shoot first. And it's just. You just see this like sadistic crap, dude. He's obsessed with his boss's breast milk. He's like, he loves breast milk, and he's like this grown 35-year-old man. I don't know how old he is. He's like 30.
He never had breast milk.
He's just like, he's just this crazy dude, man. And he kills a plane full of people, and as they're like, help us, and he fucking puts his laser eyes on. He's like, I will laser the fuck out of all of you. And he just doesn't give a shit about people, but he wants everybody to love him. And it's because nobody ever loved him.
He wants the masses to love him, for sure.
Yeah, because he never had love growing up, so he's really sadistic, but he has like this, you almost have like this sympathetic edge for him in a way because of what had happened to him.
He did. I did read somewhere that he in this universe, The Boys TV series universe. I don't know when it was said. I saw it was on. His official page, which is separated between the comics version of him and the TV version of him. It does say that he did have a mother-like figure when he was really young, and that he gave her a hug and killed her on accident.
And killed her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple split scenes. I don't know if it's I can't remember if it's season 1 or season 2, but they show him like hugging her, and I don't know if he like squeezes her or if he like laser beams her fucking gut.
He breaks her back.
Breaks her back, right? Okay, yeah. So I'm trying to remember that scene, but I can't remember what season it's in. But he kills her, right?
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
Yeah, but he's just, but it's not so much I guess the character, but Anthony Starr, man, the guy that plays Homelander, absolutely crushes that character. I mean, in my life, I have like a list of like all-time characters in TV shows and in movies, and he immediately went to the top 10 list of like characters that are performed.
We'll have to do that someday.
Yeah, and I was going to bring it up to you. We'll have to do that list. Just out of random things of like different stuff of like what I thought, oh man, that was very well performed. And like this whole series was just superb, acted by everybody involved. And for him to do that character is just how well he did it. I don't know. It was so believable, everything he did, for how hard that character had to be to do. Because it's just, man, he's so evil. He's just so evil.
So evil.
But he's supposed to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Because then he can turn it on like that. Because he kills a plane full of people, and then 5 minutes later he's on the freaking beach, and he's like crying to the media, like, if they would have told us, we could have saved them. And it's like, what the fuck is going on with this? He's so messed up. So the comic book has some crazy stuff that happens with him and things like that. So we won't get into that because we're doing the show, but he's so messed up in his own head, man. And you do feel it towards the end of the season 2. You almost kind of feel for him a little bit until the end, right until he's like with his son and shit, and you're like, he's all like, that little fuck, you know, if you care about that little shit, and you're just kind of like, oh, yep, he's a piece of shit still. Yep, fuck him.
I was never swayed, just so everyone knows.
I never really cared. I never cared about him. I was like, he's a piece of shit. But you can see that where the sympathetic part would be like, man, he was raised in a fucking lab. What do you expect? He's going to be kind of messed up in the head.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, but other than that, that's my feelings on Homelander. I love that character. So, your turn on the different subject. Anybody else? Any characters you want to rant about?
Rant about? No.
I rant on Homelander, man. I love that character. I just love the character in the show. All the whole arc of him for the whole 2 seasons is just, I thought, was amazing. Especially his love with Stormfront. I don't know if you want to bring her up.
We will.
She comes in season 2.
Yeah.
Which is another. I don't know if we want to talk about that at all. Too. We'll bring that up.
Season 2.
Well, no, just they gender swapped a lot of characters, which I liked.
Yeah.
Because it played well with switching the storyline from the comics to the TV show, because it made it more believable. Because you can't always make things the same, right? Because you can't carbon copy everything from comics to TV.
Yeah.
It has to be different, and by doing things done by switching the genders, they've actually made it more realistic for the TV show by making it, oh crap, I don't know what's going to happen. So I love that. I love what they did, because like Victoria Newman, who she is in season 2, she comes into play. She's a politician. She becomes really important. She was a man in the comic book. She's a guy, but she doesn't play as big as role of what they're doing in the TV show. So I like what they've done. So
yeah, diversifying is
I'm
great.
all about it.
All about it. Talk about one of my favorite characters. God damn Frenchy. I didn't even know what to think about him when you first saw him, because you didn't know really, when you first saw French. They brought Butcher went and got Frenchy because Huey and Butcher had captured Translucent, which I think we said, you said he's able to go invisible and his skin is also impenetrable. And this isn't just like bullets impenetrable. This is impenetrable. It's impenetrable. You can't blah 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 blah.
It's like diamond encoded crap that you can't do anything to it.
So, anyways, back to Frenchy. Oh my God, he's. They do a really good job, in season 2 of getting his backstory straight.
Yeah.
So Frenchy, he's this guy just making the best of it. He was abused by his father growing up. He was taken away from his mother by his father. He's obviously, he's Frenchy because he's French. He was in France. He eventually was able to get away from his father and come to America. It doesn't say anything about him ever reuniting with his mother, or that if she'd ever died or anything. So I don't know if there's ever anything gonna happen in that respect. With how much of a side character he is, I doubt we'll see anything, but it's interesting to think about. Anyways, he's got these couple of best friends he sticks with. Donna No, that's not the right. I don't have their names next right here. But anyways, he's on a mission with Butcher and Mother's Milk. He's supposed to watch not translucent. You just said it. Fire lantern.
Lamplighter.
Lamplighter. Supposed to watch him. Anyways, one of his best friends is overdosing. He's gotta run away, help his friend, keep from overdosing. He does, he helps him out, but he can't stay with him. So he leaves to go back to find him. And in the meantime that he was gone, Lamplighter went and killed some people. Won't get too much into it. They were pretty important people. So that was a big fuck up. When he got back, his friend that overdosed actually decided to ditch him. He felt like because he saved his life or something, he wasn't worthy of his friendship. It was kind of weird and stupid. Anyways, he ends up overdosing a couple months later anyways. So, Frenchy obviously has this regret in him. He wants to do what's right, but, at the same time, he doesn't know if he's able to do that, given his past. Anyways, besides that, he's fucking hilarious throughout the show. He's definitely one of the,
comic relief.
Comic relief, yeah, there you go. He's definitely the comic relief in the show, which, I pull towards that character in every show. Man. He's hilarious, and how they portray him. What Tomer Capon does as him, I think is great. But yeah, I would say that's my favorite character, one of my favorite characters for sure overall.
Yeah, I absolutely love the story with Frenchy and Kamiko, man. That is like one of my favorite in the whole arc of both seasons is the relationship between him and Kamiko, the female.
Yeah.
Like, he feels like he has to protect her and help her and shit, and she doesn't really need it. No. Like his protection and help at all because she's fucking badass. In a way she kind of does, right? Because she has this brother figure that we come across in season 2, and like season 2 or season 1. That we come across. 2, right?
Brother
2,
yeah. 2, yep. Because Stormfront who kills him.
Yeah. Stormfront fucks him up. So, just like she doesn't speak. She's more of a mute. So it's like they can't communicate with each other. So they're like trying to figure it out. But you can tell that he loves her immediately. It's almost like this first love at first sight type thing, it's more than just I care about her type stuff. And he talks to Sherry, right? That chick that he kind of sleeps with here and there. Frenchy, that's the other chick that he used to do drugs with and stuff. And
he's
that's
the
other chick.
Friends with benefits type deal.
Yeah. So that's who you meet her in the first season a little bit in the second and stuff. But yeah, she even brings up, kind of helps him a little bit solve some mental problems.
Yeah, she's a longtime friend that they have a very free-going, open relationship type deal going on.
But yeah, I love the story, and then especially towards the end of season 2, where Kamiko starts to open up more and more to the boys, and she becomes more open to the whole group and starts talking to kind of everybody. She ends up hugging fucking Starlight in one episode, and you can see her becoming more open as a person. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is because of Frenchy in general and what he's gone through and shit. So his character is fucking amazing, man. And and then that's what's crazy about this whole show and this whole thing in general is that it's all basically based around Billy Butcher, which is Carl Urban character. And I can't say enough about Carl Urban.
I was about to say, I don't know how we've gone this long without even mentioning Carl Urban. Jesus fuck.
The main character in the whole fucking show is Billy Butcher, and it's about him and his life. Homelander rapes his wife, and his wife kills herself. What do you think? Because of this situation, and that's why Carl Urban. Yeah, she disappears, and that's why Billy. Well, yeah, she disappears. So Billy
People
Butcher
think she, you know.
Yeah, Billy Butcher thinks she kills her, but then he finds out in the TV show that she's still alive eventually because she has the kid and Homelander has a son. But the Carl Urban's portrayal of Billy Butcher, man, is fucking amazing. It's so good, man. And
you know, I mean,
my love for Carl Urban runs super deep, man. That guy is amazing in everything he does, and this character is like just so great. So,
you know, I mentioned earlier that he was kind of Batman-esque. Man, I was, you know, thinking about it. He's definitely 100% more like Punisher than anything else.
Yeah. Oh God, dude. He is like.
I don't know. I think it was just that dark side that pulls me. And plus, I was watching Batman Begins earlier today, so.
I was actually watching Batman Begins earlier before we started.
Fucking shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's awesome.
You know, Christopher Nolan is such a great actor. I gotta watch this shit over again.
Dude, I was sitting there. I was like, I haven't watched Batman Begins in forever. I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, that's anyway, fucking hilarious.
Billy Butcher, just the heartache, man, and that's what that character goes through, and that's what you want in a story, and like with everything else that goes on in this show, and how violent it is, and then the satire. There's still an underlining story arc, and it's sad and it's emotional and everything else in between. And what you have to deal with while watching it is like this man who like loved his wife so much and then has to deal with all this other stuff, and having to like understand that like towards the end of season 2 he like finally gets his wife back and he gets his kid back, and then he like realizes that he wants to send her away because he's such a piece of shit and such a bad person that he doesn't want to raise that kid in his way because he's a piece of shit. Because if you watch his story arc,
he's a broken man.
He's such a broken man because his dad was an abuser, and like his brother killed himself, and like just you get such an emotional fucking ride out of this character. It is insane, man. Just absolutely insane character. And the end of that season with him especially is absolutely nuts what he has to go through, and it's a wild ride, man. And Carl Urban is once again as always absolutely crushes it. Go far back, Carl Urban is freaking Cupid and like Xena the Warrior Princess. Dude. And Hercules. He's still amazing. Everything.
You don't even need to go that far back. Just gotta remember, destroy. in Thor Ragnarok, man, that was hilarious.
He's got one of the best movies in the last 10 years, and that's Dread.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about that movie. Nobody brings it up. Nobody wants to give it a love. And Dread is one of the best action movies ever made. And Carl Urban does an amazing job playing that character, and he never takes his mask off.
That's probably why.
Got to do it, man. This is the way.
No, I liked Dread. That's when that whole movie takes place in like one building, right? Where they're kind of
one building. That movie.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, man.
It's one of my favorite action movies of all time.
Yeah, it's not bad for sure.
And Carl Urban's amazing as always. Once again, he's amazing.
He does a solid job, but yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about the acting chops, man. Everybody does a fantastic job. Characters we hate in the show and how acting job they do. Fucking Stormfront.
Yes, let's get into the main character,
of season 2.
Main antagonist. Sorry.
Yeah.
Of season 2, which I'm gonna go this route for a second. Does it feel like sometimes they build up these evil guys just to have another evil guy come in so they have someone to kill off?
Well, I think
because I feel like that kind of happened. That happens a lot, and I'm okay with it. It's just one of those kind of cliche things. It feels like a little bit.
Well, I think that's because if you look at it with this show, I think a lot of it is we talk about it. I think a lot of it right now is building up to Soldier Boy and Victoria Newman, right? Especially because this is super spoiler alert right now again. Mm-hmm. Victoria Newman is the character in the comic book. it was a man, and he didn't play as big a role in what is happening now. TV show, people's fucking heads start blowing up, right? The boys have a character that they talk to a bunch. She's like a CIA agent. They bring her information. She's trying to help them fucking catch Vought and some shit. Season 2, they're like talking to her right off the bat. They're like, hey, we got some shit, blah, 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 blah. And then her head fucking blows up. And then, like, they freak out. They don't know what's going on. They're like, who can do this? Oh, we don't know what's going on. And then we cut to this chick, and there's like this character, and it's Victoria Newman, and she's this politician. She's a senator. And we go through her story arc through this whole season. And what she's trying to do is she's like anti-Vought, anti-V, which is the chemical they use to make superheroes. And she's like against everything they stand for, right?
So, yes. I have a very interesting theory. Kind of theory. I just want to let you be aware of it. So, Vought, this big-ass company.
Well, she works for Vought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you agree with that?
Is that your theory?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
She's got to. Because Vought knows every single person that they gave the serum to, right?
Yeah.
The only way, I was thinking, well, maybe she got it when, she would order and maybe that's saying something, but even they know about them. So the only other thing I was thinking of maybe is when Homelander went and, a bunch of people, gave serum to a bunch of people, which is kind of possible if you think about it. Mm-hmm. She's not, but she's not, but she's been.
She worked for Vought when, so like I didn't know she was the one blowing up heads until the end, of course, right? I'm not that intuitive.
The churches guy.
Well, like in the courtroom scene.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the church guy at the end of it when she blows up his fucking head at the Scientology guy.
Yeah.
At the end of it. Basically the Scientology guy, quotes, I'm basically the Scientology guy. But like the church scene when she blew up all those guys, you were like, and then you go back and you're like, oh, and the end of it you see was her. She's working for Vought because that essentially got V legalized, right? Now everybody wants V because we need to stop these terrorists because these terrorists are fucking attacked this courtroom and this shit happened. And you're like, holy crap. So then after that happened, so now I have a pretty good feeling that she works for Vaught's payroll because she was the one blowing people's heads up, and that whole court was to stop people from voting. That was against V, and now all these people are going to be. I mean, we're talking about brutal and violent scenes. That scene was up there with the Kingsman church scene. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
But that church brutal. This scene was just as brutal. And it's just people's heads blowing up left and right, and it was pretty crazy. So, but you go back and watch it again, and it's everyone she looks at, their heads blow up, and it's a pretty crazy scene to rewatch once you know who does what. But yeah, I'm with you. No, she definitely works for Vought, and she's definitely a part of them and their schemes and stuff. But
okay, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but since we're on her as a subject. Let's go into the very last scene of The Boys Season 2, which is Huey going to work for her.
Yeah.
Now, that is kind of played off as the boys kind of broke up. They're all going their own direction. Butcher's kind of going off who knows where. Other guys doing their own things. This is what Huey's doing, breaking off. But my theory is they definitely are not breaking off, and this is them having some sort of idea and maybe Huey going undercover type deal. Get right under their next prey. Maybe they figured it out. It was her. I don't know. I think kind of a theory I got going.
So I'm with you a little bit there. I mean, I don't think they're definitely going their separate ways. I think with Grace Mallory, which is their like handler, quote handler, like they're getting FBI handler. She offered them the job, right? At the end of it. So with Huey going to work for her, I think it's the opposite. I think what she's doing is going to use Huey as kind of like her way in. And then I think that Butcher is going to use Starlight as her way in, as his way into the Seven. And that's what's going to happen. I think that's because I know they're not really sticking to the comics, but in the comics, the Seven kind of uses Huey as a pawn a little bit. and they kind of like, hey, fucking help us out. I mean, they kind of force him to help each other. So, but yeah, you're right. They could know. Maybe they have an idea, but if they did, it'd be hard. But how do you fight somebody that can blow people's heads up by looking at them? That's terrifying.
That's where that, you know, kind of stealthy, undercover type thing is
I'm with
going
you, man.
on.
That'd be a great way that if they know, send Huey to work for them without telling anybody to figure out, or is he really just tired of working with Billy Butcher because he's an asshole and tired of getting punched in the face? So,
oh, dude, that boat scene. Oh, they played that out so perfect. Where Butcher, right? It was Butcher. No, that was when Butcher was coming to apologize for punching him, basically, and he was just punches him. Butcher's like, "What was that?" And then he's like, "Fuck, go after him again." And they get broken up. It's like, it's like, damn, Huey.
Yeah. I love what they're doing. I love that they're changing it up from the comic.
Yep, they're doing a great job with it too, I think.
Yeah, because it changes. Because I know people get mad about stuff changing things from here to there. Eventually we'll do like a Watchmen. We'll talk about the Watchmen eventually, and how things have changed to the new TV show from things in the past. But I like how they change things and how they do stuff, and I like this because when you change things, I know people get mad. You're not sticking to source material. But if you do that, there's no surprises.
Yeah.
And when there's no surprises, you get the Watchmen movie, right? And when he did it, where it was Snyder, right? So it was exactly the same, right? It was the same. It was exactly. So it was almost scene for scene shot like the comic. So it was hard to be surprised until the ending of it, where the ending of the movie was completely different from the ending of the comic to a point. Monster versus bombs. So it's just, with this, I love how they're doing this different. This is where I go into arguments for shows like The Walking Dead could have used this type of aspect, where they could have switched more. They really went different from the comics to the show. They did completely differently, but they could have gender swapped some people and took a different route from what they've done and added some things and subtracted some things. And what this show so far has done a really good job compared to, in my opinion, Walking Dead didn't do a good job. So this show so far, what they said, they have 5 seasons in a row. Hopefully they'll get all 5 seasons, which I think they will. The show's blowing up.
Oh, yeah. No, and yeah. And talk about ratings. They had where is it? I swear I had this written down. I'm blind now. It's like 80. Oh, here it is. They had 84% rate. The first season, which even that is, that's still great. And then it jumped up to 97% for the second season.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's. I know that because I love it, man. When it first came out, dude, I watched that first season. I binged it,
and that's Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. I know I didn't say who did that rating, but that's by Rotten Tomatoes. Which
is that critic score or user score?
Review score. 97% approval rating. That's approval rating.
Approval rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's and it's just one of those things, man. It's just such a brilliant. It's such a brilliant show. I mean, and on IMDb, it's got an 8.7 out of 10, which is really good for IMDb because most people that vote on that are douchebags and they're sticklers that think they're better than everybody else. So,
well, they are.
I vote on IMDb and I think I'm awesome. So
somebody's gotta.
But I like it a lot, dude. I was super happy because I knew a little bit about the comic. I started reading the comic after season 1. I'm 3 comics in. And I enjoyed the comic too. So I don't know if you knew this, but Huey in the comic is based off of Simon Pegg.
Yes, I did. I was actually gonna bring that up.
Bring that up.
Eventually.
So then Simon Pegg.
I forgot about it.
Dad on a TV show.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking awesome. I love that.
The only stickler, whatever I got of that is because of the role he's playing, he can't do anything, and yet you got this great, hilarious actor playing this boring ass person, basically.
Yeah,
but that's the role. You know, that's the role. So it is what it is. It sucks, but you know, it is definitely cool.
In a way to just kind of step in real quick and be like, "I'm fucking Simon Pegg.
Hey.
I'm fucking here." Because Simon Pegg is fucking awesome at everything. And
dude, he is.
He is like the greatest person on the fucking planet Earth. So it's just cool that he was willing to fucking do it and to play such a small role that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like,
you know, yeah, they totally could have had anybody in there. Anybody. It wouldn't have. It really wouldn't have mattered.
And fucking Simon Pegg's like, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Just for him to step in and say, oh yeah, I'm in it. You know. And I also like that Seth Rogen's in it because, you know, he's a fucking producer in the show. He's a big part of the reason why the show is even being made.
Yeah, he was originally supposed to. He was supposed to be a lot bigger part. He was supposed to be even bigger part of the show, like as in producing it and directing it and that kind of stuff. But the show got pushed back, so eventually his role, you know, he wasn't able. Schedule conflicts eventually, kind of.
Yeah, but he plays like a character. He plays himself in some episodes.
Yeah.
Which is it's hilarious, right? So I mean, yeah. But let's we want to talk about Stormfront real quick.
Let's talk about Darth Vader.
Talk about it for a second, then we step away. So Stormfront comes in season 2, protagonist. Well, she comes in as like part of the 7, and then she's like,
girls get it done.
Yeah, girls get it done. And she comes in and steals the show, and you're kind of like, she's kind of like this SJW type character, right? And she's like, but she's kind of okay, right?
Yeah, you don't. It's like she's
feminist, and she kind of plays that role. She's all about the TikTok, right, and the Instagram type stuff, and she's filming herself all the time, and she's got side of her head shaved, and she's kind of playing that character, and she's doing a really good job of it, and you kind of like her for that role that she's kind of saying "f you" to the society and to the spectrum, and then as the show goes on, you're like, she's a bitch, and then you find out she doesn't fucking like people of any type of color other than white. And
she hardcore racist.
She fucking goes into this building chasing Kamiko's brother, which is the female, which is a part of the boys, and she fucking starts killing everybody in that building because they're black. And you find out at the end of it, while she's killing her brother because he's Asian, you find out she's fucking racist.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, holy shit.
Another piece of shit
superhero. And then you like go more and more. And then you find out she's fucking a Nazi. And she was the first ever superhero ever created from Compound V. And she was made by the Nazis back in the early, fucking 1922. Yeah. And you're like, it was like a total mindfuck, right? You're like, holy shit, this is cool arc, cool story, that she's still alive and she looks like she's fucking 20-something. And meanwhile, she's fucking Homelander the whole time, and her Homelander are getting it on, and they both like each other because Homelander's a racist piece of shit too. And you're like, what the hell is going on with this character, man? And it was absolutely nuts. I've never hated a character more than I hated freaking Stormfront, man. I liked Joffrey from Game of Thrones more than I liked Stormfront, man. And that's hard to say. I'm not the Stannis Baratheon son. What's his son's name? I can't remember his son. The fucking bastard son from Game of Thrones. I hated that fucking dude a lot more, but yeah. But Stormfront's a piece of shit, but her superpowers are great. She's basically Storm from the X-Men.
Yeah.
Not as like weather, but she has like lightning. You know, she can shoot lightning bolts. She can fly and shit, and she's super powerful. She killed a bunch of people. She kills a bunch of people. But there's a scene in the last episode where Queen Maeve, Kamiko, and Starlight beat the shit out of her.
Girls get it done.
Girls get it done. And that's a pretty epic scene. because there's a song in the background. I can't remember who sings it now. I should have had that pulled up. I don't know why I don't have that pulled up. But the song is like "Boys Want to Do What Girls Do" or something like that. And fucking, but the song is a great song. It's by like the Pixies or something like that. Fuck, it's gonna drive me crazy. I'm totally misquoting that. But it's a great scene, awesome scene. And then she flies away, eventually gets her ass Darth Vadered. She gets Anakin Skywalkered, I should say.
Yeah.
By Homelander's son. And she is fried to a crisp, missing like an arm and a leg. Who's not dead, by the way.
No.
So leading into season 3, we're gonna get a Darth Vader and the boys.
I don't know. I reading up on some more stuff is that they kind of, she's obviously got some sort of healing ability, but by the way I read it, it's not like Kamiko where it's total regeneration of everything.
Yeah.
So they were saying that she was still gonna be somewhat mangled or something.
Yeah.
She's not gonna be in full form. Yeah. She won't be in full form, basically.
Yeah, so we'll get like a Darth Vader version of her, right? She'll probably get some fucking mechanical shit.
Right. That'd be nice.
We'll get like a Darth Vader Stormfront. We'll get like a Darth Vader Nazi out there. That'd be fucking. So that's gonna be hilarious to see in season 3 what happens with her. Because she was such a man. I never hated a character more than that character. God, I hated every minute of her. And what sucked about it even worse is she's so powerful. And like she kicked Kamiko's ass a couple times, and you're like, this bitch. Like you wanted Kamiko to win and shit, so it was even rough. But when all three of the chicks kicked her ass, it was pretty fun to see, and it was pretty brutal. And they punched one of her eyes out. And the comic book, it was even more brutal.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so yeah, amazing show, man. The show's great, really well done, really well acted. Antagonists, protagonists, top to bottom, everything about it is just fucking awesome.
I agree. Casting was amazing.
Yeah. What do you think about Jensen Ackles being in season 3?
Dude, I can't wait for that guy to play a bad guy. I think it'd be good.
Did you watch Supernatural?
Yeah. I've watched the first. I'm on season 12 right now, so I got a few more seasons to go yet before I finish it.
So I'm with the original creators of that show. I think it should have stopped early, season 7-ish. I feel like it.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I feel like they kept pushing past of what they should have. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? I watched until season 11, season 11. And pretty much after season 4, it was rubbish. But that's just my personal feelings on the show. It was still fun. It was still a fun show.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite Dean was the Demon Dean.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Later,
and that was like fucking like 10 or some shit like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like
season.
That. But like.
Well, season. Yeah, it would be season 10 because season like 9 and 10 kind of. Because season 11 is when God's sister. That's season 11 is God's sister whole thing, the darkness. Yeah. When it's released, when he gets it off of him, anyways.
Yeah. So
it's like 9, 10 in there. I think it's between both of them.
And that's my favorite. That's like one of my favorite whole Jensen Ackles part was like that. Is like I loved every minute of him being like this,
cutthroat,
bad, just demon fucking shit up, bad guy, and for him now to finally play a different character, and that's what I think was more mad about. I don't care about Jared Padalecki as much. I think he's a good actor, and he was in some other stuff, and I think he's talented. But I've always been really intrigued to see what Jensen Ackles could do. So I'm really, really, really happy to see him play this character now. Essentially, Homelander before Homelander was Homelander. And now we'll get this
weaker version of Homelander's wife. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. He's not quite as strong, and actually, he's a suck up, is what I've read too. So he's kind of a suck up that he,
So there's like 3 different versions of Soldier Boy. There was like
the
original.
Yep, you know, somebody took up the mantle type deal.
Yeah. So what I read is that he's gonna play a version of a couple different ones. He's gonna play the original, which was the counterpart to Stormfront, and then he's gonna play like the second version, which was like the later version of him, and then not the son version of him. So that's what I read. That's what they said that he's probably gonna be doing is like somewhere in the middle of like
they'll figure powerful. They're doing their own thing, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is from what like I guess what like the creators were saying is that this is where he's kind of going to be at is in the middle, ish is like towards the original because he's going to be 100 years old, you know, like her, but like have that same attitude. And they're like, you can't expect him to be. Don't expect Jensen Ackles to come in and be a good guy. Right, because he's literally Homelander. He's a piece of shit. He's just not as racist or as much of a fucking ass. You know, he's not a Nazi piece of shit. He's just an American piece of shit. So it's just the only difference is he's just an older version of what she is or what Homelander is, but looks, you know, younger and stuff. So I'm super excited to see his whole arc, man, and the story, and more to come with it, man. I really love the show. It's one of my favorite things that's on television right now. So,
episode 17, first episode of season 3 is called Payback. What do you think that could mean? Who's getting payback? Is Stormfront getting payback? Homelander getting payback? Busher getting payback? I mean, that could mean a lot of different things, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, that's so far up there, man. That can mean so many different things. I mean, payback for what? Payback for who? Mm-hmm. I mean, that definitely could mean Homelander trying to get payback for everything that.
Whoops.
It's hard to say because, man, is it the fucking Deep? You know, I mean, who the fuck knows, man?
Dude, they did a really good job. Like,
is it Black Noir?
You know, going back, yeah, it could be any of them. But going back to the Deep, they did a fairly okay job, at least before he kind of did the whole church thing, of like almost feeling bad for this guy. Like, there was parts like every time I'd be like, I almost feel bad, and then you remember what he did right away, and he's like, nah, fuck that guy.
So Deep, real quick backstory for almost feel bad this guy. So the comic book, he didn't do that. Homelander's the one. So Starlight was originally not in the 7. She comes in the 7. In the TV show, she walks in. The Deep welcomes her. The Deep pulls his dick out, and he's like, hey, if you want into the 7, you have to suck my dick. That's what he says, and it's very vulgar, and it's very messed up. That's what the Deep says, and eventually she comes out and says, hey, this is messed up. This is what has to happen. He gets kicked out of the 7. And he gets sent away and then eventually joins this whole church thing called the Collective, Scientology, and then has to do this whole thing. And it's this crazy world that he gets into. And you do feel bad. And then you're like, he's a piece of shit. He deserves it.
For sure, man.
Yeah, so you're into... The Deep is a super weird character. So, but it could be about him. To me, like, I don't know. It could be about Black Noir, right? Because... we don't know what happened to him because they shoved the tree whole freaking almond joy into his face. They kicked his EpiPen away, and they left him there, and we didn't see him anymore. And they never talked about him.
I would assume that he's still fine. So I don't think I think he'll be back. I think however it happened, I think he got back on his feet.
Yeah, so it could be about him getting payback on getting a fucking almond joy shoved down his throat.
Yeah, it's way too... I feel like that's way too small for the episode title. I don't know. It's... as you said, though, it could be anything. It could be anything.
He fucking smashes
One other thing I want to talk about, and it's kind of a little less on the boys, a little more on just shows in general coming out on the streaming services now. Boys, first season... they uploaded it all. You know, when the first season came out, all 8 episodes were there. Season 2, they did the first 3 episodes all at once, and then they did a week after. Season 3, as far as what we can tell, they're gonna do that week after, a weekly thing again. What are your thoughts on that and shows doing that? Disney Plus coming out has kind of done that. They brought out the streaming service, and now they still set that week to kind of spread the talk about the show. It's a good PR idea. Is it an idea that we like? Is it something that Netflix will eventually adapt? Because they're big on, they don't seem to be veering away of, throwing something down. And at least for me, as a professional binge watcher myself, I like when everything comes out at once, because then I can just watch it all. It keeps me up at night, yeah, sure, but I like watching stuff. I watch at my own pace, which is much faster than once a week.
Yeah. I mean, so when The Boys season 2 came out, I didn't watch it. I didn't start watching it until episode 7 came out, I think. And then because I wasn't gonna sit there week to week to watch it. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stay away from spoilers. I'm not gonna watch anything with social media stuff that I know that has it, and I'm just gonna go.
See, that's the problem. I can't stay away from social media enough. I'm always, at least for me, I like to check Twitter just to see what the headlines are. I don't really. I don't
have Twitter on my phone.
If there's anything, most of the time there's not, but every once in a while I'll pick up on something. But I feel like that's, with Mandalorian, I watched that, every time I watched that every Friday, and it was still great, but I kind of, at the same time I still wished, and I know for sure, at least the show on that caliber, there was no way that I was gonna be able to avoid all the spoilers.
I did.
In a sense, I'm sure you figured, you didn't avoid the Baby Yoda shit. I highly doubt that.
What are you talking about, Baby Yoda stuff?
Grogu. Like, when the show first started, you didn't know that Grogu was going to be a character. Like, a smaller version of Yoda was suddenly going to be there.
No, of course not, because they released that before the show was even fucking coming out, though. You knew that Grogu was a thing before the show even happened.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they released that Grogu was the character before the show was even starting, because I'm pretty sure that I had seen that. And even if they didn't, like 2 episodes in, first episode, if you see that, is that much of a spoiler? Like,
I would say so.
I mean, all right, like another character that looks like Yoda. Like, oh, okay. Like, what are they gonna do with this? Like, I don't know. I don't feel like that's much of a. I don't know. I stayed away from the plot point of the show.
Sure.
Like, I've seen pictures and memes, and yeah, you can't stay away from like the memes of the character, but it's as easy as like not being on Facebook and Twitter. So that's a pretty easy. It's a pretty easy thing to do. So my harder thing is like not staying on YouTube. That's the harder thing. So and when it comes into shows like that, like with like Mandalorian, and with like The Boys, with like the week to week stuff, when there's a show that's out, it's difficult, but I don't know, man. For them to create more buzz, it's better for the company to do that. For sure. For the fan aspect, I mean, no, definitely not. Give everybody the show at once, right? So they can watch it all and then binge it and then it's over with. But I mean, definitely for the creators, it's better to have it week by week. I mean, I'm better binging shows than I am watching them week to week, because it is, it's just I can watch them whenever I want, right?
Yeah.
If I want to watch 3 episodes tonight and 1 episode tomorrow, I can do that, or 1 episode next week. It's better that way, and that's how I did with both seasons of The Mandalorian. We watched the entire season of The Mandalorian 2. I think it was like over Christmas break or I think it was New Year's. like New Year's Eve or whatever, we watched like almost the entire season of The Mandalorian too.
Yeah.
Like in those 2 days, we watched the entire thing. And like I didn't have any spoilers for it. So it was like I had a little bit. The only one I had was his name. And that was because of memes, right? So which is hard, which is one of those things, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to stay away from spoilers. But like with Rebecca, she doesn't have Facebook on her phone, she doesn't Reddit, she doesn't tweet. She literally has like nothing on her phone as far as social media. So like for her, she doesn't YouTube. She's not in touch with anything social media. So she never knows anything spoiler wise. So it just, it depends on what your impact on social media is.
Sure.
If you're a person that is like, I gotta have social media in my life, it's a part of everything I do, then you're fucked. You're gonna get in touch with it, and it's definitely gonna get spoilers. My opinion on spoilers, man, if the show is over a year old, I don't care. That's my thing with it. If it's over a year, that's not my responsibility to warn you about spoilers anymore, or to tiptoe around you about it or anymore, or because if it's been out for a year and you haven't watched it and you're trying to watch it, and you got I got family and I got plans, I got all this stuff. Yeah, man, then I'm sorry, but I can't. I'm not just going to tiptoe around you when you're the only one in this group of people that hasn't watched it. Then go over there. So, it's out there now. It is what it is. So,
sounds good. I think that's a wrap. Unless you got anything else to say about The Boys.
Watch it. It's amazing. Watch it. All of it. All 2 seasons in 2 days.
2 days.
Do it.
I didn't even do that.
It's only like 16 hours of TV.
Took me at least 4 days.
Okay, do it in stone time, 4 days. I think it took me like 4 days too. I think 4 or 5 days. I think. Yeah, it took me about that long. I think. Yeah, season 1 took me a few days. So yeah, I can't even say. I think it took me longer. So, but watch it. It's a great show. Satire on superheroes, makes fun of how stupid they are, and how if you were to give superpowers to real people, how bad they would be. They'd be shitty people. So
pretty freaking bad. Roll the outro, boys. That's all I got.